What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Boundless Perception YouTube channel. And today we are going to be finishing off these 3D printed Yunas Tiny B from Final Fantasy X-X2 pistols. They are for a customer and I have to get them ready. So I was like, why not just go ahead and film the process? So if you guys did purchase these or just wanted to do it yourself, you'd have a guide. So let's hop into it. So as many of you probably know, Final Fantasy X was my favorite Final Fantasy, specifically probably Titus, and I'm gonna say maybe Jecht and then Waka are my top 3 favorite characters from that series. Yunas, she was great, but not one of my favorites. Anyways though, we're gonna be go ahead and finishing off these 3D printed pistols. We have to go ahead and hide the seam lines as best we can, and then we have to paint it, and then we have to attach the other parts here, which I have yet to pull off the support filament from. So that's to come later though. So right now what we're gonna do is go ahead and get these, like the connection line that joins them together, hidden as best we can. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and use some resin. We're going to paint over it, ram it down here in the crevices, and then probably do a little bit of sanding if we have to. But honestly, we're just going to cover, after we resin it to like get rid of the gap, we're going to cover it up with primer, which is also sandable. So let's go ahead and get that underway. All right, so we have our pistols here, and what we are going to do is just coat them. Well, not the whole things, but specifically just the seams in some resin. And I spilled a little bit on my table here, which I would not have liked to do. That's all right. Let's go ahead and get this going. I'm just gonna do it like so. It may be better with a Q-tip, but this will do for now. Got that part, that part. And again, since we're going to be covering this whole thing with primer, you can be kind of generous. It doesn't really matter because it's all going to be hidden anyways. For that part. Just doing a quick outline of the whole thing. Try not to touch any of the resin as it is carcinogenic. So that's essentially all you're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other pistol, and then we're going to go ahead and hit these with some UV light, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, so now we've moved to outside. Again, we just gave the guns a quick, lacing or painting or whatever you wanna call it with the resin. Trying to do the best we can to hide those seam lines. You probably can't see it too well. It's really bright out here. That's why I'm squinting. So we're just gonna focus more on the guns, but I'll give you a close-up of these. I'll show you the paints we're gonna be using and everything. We're gonna go from there. So let's take a closer look. All right, so to put on the primer for our guns, we're gonna be using Automotive Rust-Oleum primer. You can get this from Walmart. It's really cheap, about $7 or something like that. I think $10. I was using Rust-Oleum before, or not Rust-Oleum. I forget the name of the other brand because this is Rust-Oleum, but it's a bit more expensive. So I switched to this, haven't had any problems with it. I did a whole video on that, so you can check that one out. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and hit these guns with the primer and see what it does. All right, so it's a bit later in the day. Everything is dried, and this is how the guns are looking. They're completely smooth. I know you can't tell from the video, but they are completely smooth to the touch. You cannot feel any layer lines, which is exactly what we were going for, and the seam line is hid pretty decently. So I feel pretty comfortable with these 3 pieces. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and hit them with the silver paint. I'll show you guys that it's Rust-Oleum silver. Again, we were just using Rust-Oleum primer, and it works really well. So we're gonna go ahead and hit everything else with silver and gold. All right, guys, so that's basically it. I have to flip both sides of these guns and spray the other half, and then I have to wait for this one black piece, well, silver piece right now, to dry so that I can paint it black. That's essentially all we're gonna do. And then lastly, we're gonna just hit it with a clear coat. So nothing special there, but essentially that's all there is to it. So just to recap things real quick, all we did was fill it with resin in, you know, the spots that were pretty deep, or like any gaps that we had to try to hide the seam lines. And then we hit it with Rust-Oleum automotive primer. And then we went ahead and hit it with our Krylon gold, silver, and black. And that's all we're gonna do. And we're gonna wait for these to dry. I'm gonna glue it together and show you guys the final reveal. So give me a few minutes. All right, guys, so we have finished everything, and this is our final product for Yunas Tiny Bee. It's been a little over a day, actually. I just let it go ahead and dry a little bit longer than I normally do, and it looks extremely well. I just went ahead and clear coated it, and oh, I forgot the name of the exact stuff. I'll just have it in the link. I forget the name of the exact brand, but basically it's just like a clear coat that helps seal in all the paint and everything and help it to glisten a bit more. But this is what we ended up with, and we have the other one here. So I'm really liking the way these came out. A few notes of things that I can do possibly better next time. It's just maybe a bit more on the sanding side, maybe a bit more, no, I think that's it, just a little bit more sanding. So I'm still working on getting my painting skills exactly where I want them, but I'm very happy with the way these came out, and hopefully the client will be happy with them too. Again, these are available in my Etsy store as finished products, so if you want some, go check it out. Anyways though, thank you guys so much for checking out this episode. Let me know if you actually make these also, because again, Final Fantasy X was my favorite Final Fantasy, and I'd love to see anything Final Fantasy X related. I'm actually thinking I'm going to make a large blitz ball, because I can find them. They're just extremely expensive on eBay, so I'm going to make my own. But anyways, that's for another episode. Thank you guys so much for checking out this one, and until next time, stay boundless. See you all. Bye-bye.